Hey everyone, what is going on? And welcome back to another meta guide for the Open Ultra League. So the Open Ultra League as well as the Little Cup begin tomorrow. So yeah, it's very interesting that we're getting the Little Cup again. I know we're getting the Ultra League again, but we always get the Open Leagues. They always repeat those. But the Little Cup we already had, so very interesting there. But nonetheless, we're going to have meta guides for both of those. So let's go ahead and jump right into the Open Ultra League. So for the S rank, of course, Registeel. You love to see it, right? Sarcastically. I mean, it's a really good Pokemon. It's so tanky in the Ultra League, that Zap Cannon debuff. Huge. Obviously, it was nerfed. It's a 66% chance, but was it really nerfed? It's still really powerful. The best one I have is a rank 407, which honestly is not that bad. I'm waiting on it. I'm not building it yet. See if I can get a better one, but it's not too bad. But yeah, Registeel is a great Pokemon. Next up, we have Pidgeot. So Pidgeot, of course, another really good Pokemon. I love this Pokemon with the Wing Attack buff it received last season. It's just so powerful. It also has Gust, but I like Wing Attack. So just a great Pokemon with that Feather Dance. I love debuffing the opponents. I really do. Next up, Cobalion. Cobalion with the Double Kick, Sacred Sword, Stone Edge moveset. Really, really powerful. I think this is a great Pokemon. I've used Cobalion a lot, as well as Pidgeot on the same team. They both make a great core together. Next up, we have Giratina. So you could run Giratina in multiple different ways. You could run it with Dragon Breath. You could run it with Shadow Claw, right? And then Ancient Power, Dragon Claw, Shadow Sneak, Shadow Force. All those moves are good. Ancient Power to hit like the Pidgeot or the Charizard, which became relevant ever since they got the Wing Attack buff. Really, really powerful stuff. If you want to be able to hit steals, you need the Shadow Force, the Shadow Sneak to do neutral damage, right? But yeah, Giratina is so tanky, it's so good, a great non-XL Pokemon. Next up, we have Gliscor, or Shadow Gliscor. I love the Shadow variant because of the damage it puts out. It's just such a powerful Pokemon. It received the Wing Attack buff as well, so it's really powerful. And then we have Swampert. Swampert is a great non-XL Pokemon, another great one. We have a decent amount of good non-XL Pokemon in the Ultra League. Nowadays, but still, obviously, XLs are still really good as well. So Swampert with that Hydro Cannon, you all know the drill. It gets to the move really fast. So that's going to be the S rank. The A rank, we have Trevenant. Trevenant is still really good. It does have to watch out for the Wing Attack buff Pokemon like Pidgeot, Gliscor even, and Charizard. Even Noctowl, you could see occasionally. It's not on the list, but Noctowl I've battled once or twice in the Ultra League. It has to be like a hundo maxed out, but it's not going to be as common as the other ones, I don't think, but it's still not that bad. Then we have Steelix, another great Steel type, of course. It did receive Psychic Fangs, so you usually see it with Dragon Tail and Psychic Fangs, and then it could either be Crunch or Earthquake. Whatever your team goes upon. Then we have Cresselia. Cresselia is so tanky. Cresselia does give me problems, I'm not going to lie. I guess I've never used the best response to Cresselia on my teams. That could be why. But even if you're running like Jellicent, right, because you have that Shadow Ball, I mean, if Cresselia is running Grass Knot, and sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but if it's running Grass Knot, it can still hit for super effective damage against Jellicent. The Moonblast, or the Future Sight, I should say, would be for Pokemon like Charizard, or even Talonflame, right? So you could actually hit those, because then you would just be walled by them if you don't have the Future Sight. And then we have Virizion. Virizion not bad. It's just it does have to watch out, obviously, for the flying types like Pidgeot or like Charizard, but it's still a really good Pokemon with that Double Kick and Sacred Sword as well. You could run Leaf Blade, you could run Stone Edge, whatever your team goes upon. Then we have Charizard. Charizard is a great Pokemon. Of course, I like it with Wing Attack a lot. It gets to the moves really fast. It has a great bait move, Dragon Claw. Blast Burn hits like an absolute truck. The Shadowed Charizard you could use as well. Then we have Scrafty. Scrafty is really strong. It really is. It's just a strong Pokemon with that Count and Power Punch. Just going to absolutely go to town against opposing Pokemon. Then for the B rank, we do have Regirock. Regirock is actually a pretty tanky Pokemon. It's not as good as Registeel, but it's really not bad. I mean, it does do a good job of destroying the Charizard and the Talonflame if you're aiming for those, right? The Flyers, it's going to do well against with that powerful Stone Edge attack, and it does get to it pretty fast. I've used a shiny Regirock in the Ultra League, and it's a lot of fun. Then we have Guzzlord. Guzzlord could be pretty interesting, of course, with that Dragon Tail. So yeah, I mean, pretty good Pokemon for the Ultra League. Nice to see an Ultra Beast. And then we have Obstagoon. Obstagoon is another great counter user. It's going to do a good job of handling the Trevenant, the Giratina as well. Although even Giratina with Dragon Breath has play, but no, it's a pretty good Pokemon. It's just like it's double weak to fighting, so it does have to watch out for the other fighting uses, like the counter uses or the double kick uses. But pretty good. Other than that, also does decent against Jellicent as well. Although again, Jellicent still has play just because it has Surf. And it's so tanky. Galarian Stunfisk, speaking of tank, is a tanky boy. I love Galarian Stunfisk. I really do. I mean, it needs to be a hundo or close to it and best buddied, and you're looking really good with the Galarian Stunfisk. And then Jellicent, of course. I like Hex on Jellicent, but I guess you could go Bubble as well. It has a Surf. I recommend Surf and Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball hits like a truck. If they resist Shadow Ball, go for Surf, like against the Scrafty, against the Obstagoon, right? Really good Pokemon. Then we have Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini, another really good one, which I battle a decent amount of times, right? Tapu Fini with that Water Gun, with that Surf, with that Moon Blast. I mean, the Water Gun damage is doing a good amount. Definitely adding up. So that's the Ultra League, SA and B tier. Let's go ahead and move on to the other options. So for the first option is going to be Dubwool. So Dubwool is a double kick user, and it does get to the body slams pretty fast. It has Wild Charge and Payback. Most of the time you see Payback. I do like Payback just because of the ghost typings. Like Trevenant you wouldn't be able to touch if you don't have Payback. But no, I think it's a really, really strong Pokemon. I guess Wild Charge probably do a decent amount to Trevenant anyway, but no, I mean, it's a really strong Pokemon. If you want to hit the Flyers, Wild Charge, you could go with it, but it all depends on your team comp. Then we have Abomasnow, right? So Abomasnow is, Abomasnow, Shadow Abomasnow, doing well against the Flyers. It's also weak to Fly, so you do have to watch out for that, but you do get to the Weather Ball fast. So Trevenant, I think, not Trevenant, but Abomasnow, I think, is really good. Grass and Ice type. Then we have Talonflame. I feel like Talonflame is not as good ever since Charizard received the Wing Attack buff. It's still really good. You'll still battle it. Don't get me wrong. You want a hundo. You want it maxed out. It's really good, but I think we'll see more Charizards than Talonflame. But still, obviously, I mean, Talonflame, you could see both on one team. Talonflame is really powerful. Then we have Dragonite. Dragonite's another really good one, or Shadow Dragonite with that Dragon Breath damage. I see it in the lead a decent amount of times. Just very strong. With that superpower, it can hit Steel types, right? So it does have play against those. I guess it moves pretty fast. It's just a good Pokemon. Defense Deoxys is still really good. There's a lot of Dark and Ghost types. You have to watch out for like Trevenant, like Mandibuzz, Umbreon, Giratina. So there's things it has to watch out for, but it's still, I still think it's really good. I mean, it's as long as it stays away from those types, you're looking really good. Then we have Wolverine. So Wolverine did receive a nerf a few seasons ago. It's still good though. Icicle Spear, Ice Shot, Icicle Spear, just really fast. Yeah, it takes 5 every turn to get to it. Before it was 5 and then 4, but now it takes 5 every time. So yeah, technically not as good, but I still see it a lot in this meta. We have Miltank. Miltank with Tackle or Rollout. Obviously, I battled both variants of it as the fast move. Body Slam Spam, right? It also has Ice Beam. I believe it has Thunderbolt. I've personally never used a Miltank. You probably want Ice Beam, though. I would say for like the Giratina, the Gliscor, the Flyers, like Pidgeot, right? So, yeah, I would probably go with the Ice Beam Body Slam. And then we have kommo-o, yet another Dragon Tail user, another powerful Pokemon. Mandibuzz. I've talked about Mandibuzz and Umbreon. Both very, very, very tanky Pokemon. They can take hits for days, and they will take hits for days. So unless you like have a Charm user on them, they're going to be able to survive and get it. They're just so powerful. You want Hundo's best buddied, and they're really strong. Drapion is another good one. I feel like it's not as good as it was several seasons ago. I feel like, I don't know, like the Cobalion kind of hurt it a little bit, obviously because Cobalion does wall Drapion, but it's still a good Pokemon, it's still up there. And then we have Alolan Ninetales, either Powder Snow or Charm. But that's going to be the Ultra League for you. Let's go ahead and move on to the solid team options. So for the first team is going to be Pidgeot with the double fighting types. The trio, it's not a trio, but it is, but no one uses Terrakion, but Cobalion and Virizion, right? So I think this is a pretty powerful team. Of course, the backline going to do well against Steel types. Pidgeot is not going to like Steel types at all, right? Trevenant kind of does well against the backline. Pidgeot is going to do well against the Trevenant or Grass types in general. So yeah, I'm pretty balanced, pretty standard team. I like it. And then for the next team, I hit Legend with this team a few seasons ago, so it's relatively older, but I still think it has play. That Drapion in the lead. I used a Shadow Drapion with Aqua Tail and Crunch. I liked that moveset. And then, you know, obviously if you're battling someone, if they have a grass type, they're not going to know you don't have Sludge Bomb. So a lot of times they have switched out on me. Giratina. Now, I did hit Legend with this team before the Wing Attack buff. So Pidgeot really wasn't a thing. I mean, it was a thing, but like you didn't see it that often. So now you might want to consider Ancient Power. I was running Shadow Sneak. And then Alola Ninetales in the back. Either the Shadow or regular one. You could go Charm, you can go Powder Snow. I ran Charm with it, but both are really good. But yeah, that's that team for you that I did hit Legend with again a few seasons ago. And then next up we have, I guess this is kind of an old team, but it's still really strong. Cresselia in the lead, Swampert, and Giratina, and it's a non-XL team. It is expensive, you got 2 legendaries, but it's a non-XL team. It's just a really bulky, really powerful team in general. As for the Cresselia, do you want to go Future Sight or Grass Knot? That's really up to you. If you see one of the fire types in the lead, that's going to be trouble. But the backline can generally do well against the fire types, so you probably don't need that extra coverage on Cresselia. I'd probably go with the Grass Knot. But yeah, so moving on, we have another team. We have Scrafty in the lead. You could go with another fighter. You could go with like Obstagoon or something. Or Kabalion. And then the backline, of course, going to be Pidgeot and Charizard. Both of those Pokemon going to do well. Are going to struggle against Steel types. I mean, Charizard doesn't struggle against Steel types because it has Blast Burn. So you do have that. But Pidgeot does. But Scrafty does well against Steel types. So generally, I think this is a pretty strong team. So Fighter, Double Flying. And then we have another team. Defense DX is in the lead with Kabalion and Pidgeot. So I love Pidgeot in the back. I really do. I think it makes a great Pokemon deck to keep in the back, because if your opponent's down to their last Pokemon and you Feather Dance them, they are never resetting that debuff, and I love that. I love that they're forever debuffed, so you can flip a lot of matchups that way. I absolutely love it. So as long as Deoxys stays away from like the ghost types, I think it's looking pretty good in the lead. And I do like Thunderbolt just for the Tapu Fini. For the most part, you could run Rock Slide though if you feel more comfortable with Rock Slide. And then the final team is going to be Double Steel in the back with Galarian Stunfisk and Steelix. You could run Registeel instead of Steelix. And then we have Pidgeot in the lead. So of course the backline weak to fighting, but Pidgeot is going to do well against fighting because it's a flying type. Anyway, that is going to be the Ultra League for you. The Little Cup Meta Guide will be coming up soon. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good day. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.